Hey folks, how's it going? Chris here from Mod Extra Games and Collectibles. A pleasure to have you with me here today. And it's time once again to...
listen to your friend Chris.
This time with a pre-recorded bit of news information. Because I've got a quick bit of news for the GI Joe Classified fans out there. Unless you're completely disconnected from GI Joe Classified socials, I suspect you already know this, but just in case you don't, here's the word. Yesterday, which is the 10th of July as of time of recording, the Hasbro Pulse socials put this little teaser out. That's right, folks, the new Haslab is coming. And for such a simple teaser, there's actually a few snippets of info contained within for us eager fans to get excited about, so let me show you a few things to focus on. The first key bit of info here is the name and date. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Haslab, and we have the date of the 25th of July 2024. So we can safely interpret this as the launch date for the Haslab. This date, incidentally, is the first day of the San Diego Comic-Con this year. So that ties quite neatly to comments made by BMAC during the Yojo June stream at the beginning of... well, at the beginning of June. It was the Yojo June stream.
And also, for anybody that's wondering, like, Haslab announcement, that won't be happening today. But if you can read between the lines, that's because GI Joe has been given the coveted San Diego Comic-Con slot. So that's going to be pretty awesome.
Sweet.
You guys are going to reveal that's something.
No pressure at the
No pressure.
big time.
No, you guys are going to do something really cool.
And it's coveted, so, you know.
It is very
there enough
coveted.
space?
I went and had a look on their website, and San Diego Comic-Con have not published their panel schedule yet. Hey folks, future editing Chris here. That's a load of crap what I just said then. It turns out in the space of time between me recording some footage, having a bit of dinner, and then coming back to edit it, the San Diego Comic-Con folks have in fact started updating their program schedule. On it right now. It's here. I'm having a quick flick through on Tuesday the 25th. I can't see any Hasbro panels just yet, but it's obviously a work in progress that they're, putting together as we speak. So I'll link to it in the description down below, but I'm about to criticize them for leaving it too late, and well, it's there. So I withdraw the criticism I'm about to make, okay? But I'll put that link in the description down below, folks. But those comments clearly indicate that they have the coveted spot, and many community members, including myself, think that this means they will have a panel this year in which the Haslab announcement will be made. There is precedent for this. Hasbro had brand panels at last year's convention, including a GI Joe Classified one, so keep your eyes out for more word on that. The San Diego Comic-Con website states that the programming schedule will be coming this week. Although, the week is already nearly over, San Diego Comic-Con management folks, so hurry up, get it published. We need to know when the panel's happening. But it's a pretty safe bet that the panel for GI Joe Classified is on the 25th, if this teaser is anything to go by. The next little snippet is how they've printed the punch-out in the O, because this is, of course, the Cobra Rattler insignia that appears on the side of the aircraft. The Cobra Rattler has been heavily hinted at by the GI Joe Classified team for some time now, and it's been the leading speculated item for the next Haslab within the community for ages. This is as near as a confirmation as we'll get. Obviously, we'll find out on the 25th, but it's pretty safe to assume that this teaser is telling us that we're going to be seeing the Cobra Rattler. I've seen a few folks out and about on the socials asking, is this for classified? Will it be 1/18 scale or 1/12 scale? And it seems to me like the answers to those questions are contained in the teaser too. The Cobra Commander that's depicted in the image is the classified version. It's the Snake Supreme edition of the figure, with all the gold ceremonial style gear and the uniform design and whatnot. And if you look at the text of the post itself, certainly the one I saw over on Twitter, is clearly tagged as hashtag GI Joe Classified Series. So it looks somewhat certain that this Haslab is going to be for Classified. But if it's not, I know a fair few Joe Bros over on the Discord server I belong to who will be enormously disappointed. On that note, you should come join us on that Discord server, by the way. It's called GI Joe Frontline. I'll put a link to it in the description down below. Its benevolent leader is my good friend, Charlotte Prime, who's a solid dude and keeps things ticking over really lovely in there. So if you want to come and hang out with some solid folks who love to chat about GI Joe and all sorts of other stuff, then head to the link down below. Come join the conversation. And that's about it for the facts. But the door is clearly wide open for all the fun speculation and sharing of hopes, dreams, and desires for the Haslab set there. So before I go, let's do a bit of the fun stuff for a brief moment. I'd certainly be surprised if you didn't follow a similar model as the previous GI Joe Classified Haslabs that included a vehicle and a figure as the core set, along with 3 additional figures that were potentially available as the stretch goal incentives. I'd be even further surprised if the core figure in the offering wasn't the Wild Weasel character, the infamous yet popular ace pilot of Cobra's forces. Potential stretch goal characters are anybody's guess, though. The vintage Rattler, to my recollection, I'll go check it on yojo.com in a moment, but... he says, speaking on a hot mic before checking his shit. But the vintage Rattler packaging, I seem to remember, prominently featured a Cobra trooper in a red mask as a gunner on the gunner turret. So that could definitely be a contender. There's also a very fondly remembered comic book storyline called Shakedown, in which the Baroness was the passenger of the Rattler with Wild Weasel. So a contender could be a new Baroness with a removable flight helmet, perhaps. That would be fun. Speaking of comic storylines, I remember an arc called All Ships at Sea that featured a sea Rattler that was piloted by some Cobra dude who, to my memory, was unnamed, but in a kind of silvery get-up and no visor on his helmet. I never looked it up and never have done to this day, but if you know who that is, then let me know in the comments down below. But again, some sort of rank and file style Cobra pilot wouldn't be out of the question. On that note, we're assuming that it will be 3 figures like the previous Haslabs, but how would folks feel if there was modular components that could change your Rattler up? So, for example, you could change it into a sea Rattler with some modular landing floats that could be bolted on and off the bottom of it, maybe. So, that could be a thing. We've seen this sort of approach in recent times with other Haslabs from Hasbro. The Marvel Legends Giant Man Haslab, for example, that had the offering with the changeable faceplates instead of the figures. So that could be on the table. Otherwise, who knows? Like I say, there's potential for some pretty rank and file uniform Cobra pilots. We've seen a number over the years from across various GI Joe media in blue and red uniforms with visored flight helmets, you know, kind of faceless troopery style figs. So that could be an option. That's all I can think of right now in my state of middle-aged memory failure. So I'll invite you to jump into the comments and share your character speculation down below, or let me know if there's a popular Cobra pilot that I've forgotten about over the years or was around when I sort of dropped out of GI Joe fandom for a bit. As to the functionality of the Rattler itself, there's certainly a lot of potential for this thing to provide some real solid man-child playtime action. It could be a hell of an experience to have in hand. At minimum, we can expect to see a usable cockpit with a lifting canopy, but I'd also expect to see some other features like the rotating gunner's turret that you used to have on the vintage version of the aircraft, some detachable fuselage panels with some engine details underneath like they're doing with the Dragonfly, rotating cannon, the one at the front of the nose, wings that swivel into landing position, again that was a feature on the vintage version of the Rattler. Spinning turbines in the jet engines, maybe. Some removable rockets and bombs with effects. Again, we've seen that with the Dragonfly. Articulated landing gear would definitely be fun, like a little fun playtime articulated experience in there. And hopefully some sort of light-up effects. That would keep it to standard with the Hiss tank and the Dragonfly. So I'm thinking maybe a light-up cockpit. That's about the only spot on the Rattler I can think of that would lend itself well to light-up effects. And finally, I'd expect to see a display stand of some sort that's consistent with the one on the Dragonfly. Again, I'll invite you to share your speculations, your hopes, your dreams, your desires in the comment down below, especially with regards to the stretch goal figures and the Rattler's functionality. Tell me what you've got your fingers crossed for. Tell me what you're praying to the toy gods for with regards to your play experience that you want to have from the Haslab, from the Cobra Rattler Haslab there. But to be fair, it won't be all that long now until we find out for sure. You know, the countdown has started. As of time of recording, we've got just 14 days to go, maybe less than that if I take a long time to edit and post it. And, you know, if history tells us anything, it's probably going to end up leaking a day or two before the announcement anyway, so it's probably going to be even less than that. But nonetheless, get the date in your diary, 25th of July, call in sick or book an early dart or a half-day holiday or whatever to make sure you're there, locked and loaded, ready to go. And, you know, let's see what they got for us. I think it's exciting times. All right, well, thanks for watching, folks. Hopefully I'll see you around these parts again for another video sometime soon. I hope you have a great day, and yeah, I'll see you later. All right, ta-ra!